All right, good morning. It is 5:30 a.m. on a Sunday, 22nd of June. I've actually been up since about 4:30. My sleep has honestly been pretty shit this past week. I keep waking up every hour, I'd say, and checking my watch for some reason to see what time it is. Almost like I'm excited to get out of bed. I think part of that is excited to eat my first meal. But yeah, sleep has not been the best already at 12 weeks out, so that kind of sucks. I've been sleeping good, it's just I get up so early. If I didn't force myself to stay in bed to 4:30, I'd probably get up at 3 o'clock, but I'm not going to get into that routine just yet. Nonetheless, it's 5:30 now, so I've been up about an hour. I've already done my check-in pictures, did some posing practice, so I'll probably throw that up after this clip. I've already taken all my fat burners, essentially just going to touch base nice and early here. I'll probably talk more later in the video about the YouTube, what I plan on doing here. Overall though, just to surmise it, I'm going to keep this pretty raw, to be honest. I wouldn't be expecting any fancy edits, maybe down the line, but looking at the content that I enjoy to view on YouTube, I do prefer the raw stuff, someone just talking to a camera, documenting the journey. Whether or not people watch this, it's whatever. A big reason why I started creating on social media, Instagram, was just to document the journey for myself, and it's a big reason why I still do it. I actually really enjoy going back and looking at my previous posts and watching my progress, so I'm almost doing this for myself, but if people do want to watch it, that is also great. I said I wasn't going to talk about this YouTube, but here I am talking about it. Nonetheless, I've got about 45 minutes here until I get started with my morning walk. For anyone who follows me on Instagram knows my Sunday ritual by now. So it will look like just heading down to the coast. Hopefully it doesn't rain. It's been a bit rainy last night for a morning walk. I got two of my boys joining me this morning, which is great. Opportunity to get a little bit social with it. And I also think it helps so much going for a walk with someone. You know, you'll walk for over an hour and it feels like it goes so quick because you're kind of just shooting the shit. So if you are trying to get your steps in, get a friend, bring them along. It's also a great opportunity to catch up with people. But tell you what, we'll jump into the mirror and we'll see what I'm looking like right now, because I don't know, just to assess. So this is the current physique this morning. Pretty lean, to be fair. I feel pretty tight this morning. See if I can zoom this thing in. Not bad, not bad. So yeah, pretty fucking tight, not gonna lie. But yeah, I had a low of 100, not a new low, but I was 120.3 this morning. The lowest I've been is 120.1. So I've dropped about 11 kilos since starting prep. But if we factor in from my mass phase, where I got up to 135, I'm about 15 kilos lighter from my heaviest all-time weight. And to be honest, I feel so much better. Walking around at 135 kilos fucking sucks, to be quite honest with you. So actually it feels nice to be light on my feet, but of course the symptoms of the dieting condition are starting to kick in a little bit this week. And I'm sure we'll be documenting plenty of that moving forwards. If you're wondering why I'm talking quiet right now, it's because Samantha is asleep. And if you know anything about Samantha, you do not want to be interrupting her sleep. So I'll probably wrap this clip here. I might catch up with you guys again in the car after my walk. I'm probably not going to bring the camera for this first walk, but we'll take you guys through a full day today. Just a full day of rest day. Not going to do a full day of eating or anything like that. I'll probably do that in a later video. But I've got a few things that I need to do today, so it should make for a relatively enjoyable video. All right, catch you in the next clip. All right, just wrapped up the AM walk, headed down to the coast. Already done 8,500 steps. So at the moment I'm doing 11,000 steps a day. So we're off to a really good start here for the rest day. Pretty much just means that the rest of the day I kind of get to relax a little bit. Got some things to do, things to grab at the shops, which I'll probably bring the camera along for. But the Sunday morning ritual is very sacred to me. I love just getting up early on a Sunday, obviously doing my normal check-in and all those other boxes I need to tick at home, but heading down to the coast, going for a walk, I feel like it's just such a good start to your Sunday morning. It also sets me up nicely for the week. Most of my mornings are actually pretty flat out because I have clients, like PT clients, at 6 o'clock. So naturally when I wake up, there's not a lot of time. It's just kind of get up and go, get my first meal in. Sometimes I'll do fasted cardio and push that first meal back, obviously being in prep at the moment. So it's actually nice just to have a quieter morning. And I honestly really look forward to these Sundays. Seasonal depression is real, man. Like if it's raining and I can't go for a walk first thing, it sucks. It makes my day so much harder to begin with. But there's just nothing better than getting outside and getting a head start and starting off with a bit of daily activity. So essentially plan of attack now is get home, eat my first meal, fucking keen for it to be honest, and then I will dive into my Sunday check-ins, get back to all my clients this morning, and then I have my check-in with my coach at 11 a.m. We'll probably jump on a video call and touch base, so I'll probably update you guys after that with the plan of attack for the week. I think we have a diet break coming up, so we'll go through the X's and O's of that I'm sure at some point or another. And yeah, after that, heading to the shops. So I'll probably pick the camera up after meal one. I might have some clips here of me just running through my check-ins so you can kind of have an idea of what the Sunday morning looks like. Might even record one of my check-ins for you guys so you can kind of see what the coaching process is behind the scenes. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next clip. All right, we are pretty deep into our check-ins right now. I've got like a few ready for myself to send over to clients. So typically with my check-ins, I will, obviously get them all up on my computer. I will then obviously read through them all, look at their pictures, calculate the data. Then I'll write some notes based off of the week, and that way I have a little bit of a guideline of what I want to touch on when I do send them a Loom video. All clients receive a Loom video every single week. I do think that's a pretty imperative part of delivering a good service. I think it's important to build that relationship with the client as well so they can see me each week. And then also it makes it very easy to review training footage, which if your coach isn't reviewing training footage, you would be asking some questions. You can also pull up photos and compare as well, which is obviously pretty imperative to the coaching process. So I'll probably go through and send a couple of Loom videos now. I don't know how much of it I'll include in the video, maybe one. You might find them a little bit boring perhaps, but we'll see. I think it is all part of the process and basically what I do each and every single day. The reality is a lot of my day is spent behind this very desk working. So let's get stuck into it. Gonna get the little one of these cheeky bad boys in. Key to productivity. So we're going to go ahead and slip that upper decker in. And away we go. Let's get a bit of water in. Okay. Alrighty, good morning Mason, hope you are well mate. Just getting back to you for your weekly check-in here bro. Thank you for getting this one submitted to me here nice and early on this fine Sunday morning. Mate, hope you've had a good week. I saw you went down to Kuza yesterday with Liam. Man, that is my favorite Japanese restaurant in Perth. It is so, so good. That's actually definitely the place I will be going to post-show without a doubt. And Yochi as well. Damn, that's looking mighty fine to me right now. Nonetheless, mate, we'll dive into the check-in for the week. So as we touched on with last week's check-in, we're seeing a little bit of fatigue begin to creep up now as we are getting into the thick of our massing phase. So it is time that we do run a deload week. It's very important that we do keep you fresh and prepare you for this next upcoming part of our phase where it is going to get further challenging, obviously with more body weight coming on and further fatigue will be accumulated as we continue to push the envelope with training and what our real recovery capacity will be. Okay, so we will be taking a deload week this week. As far as how we want to be approaching the deload, we know that volume is the main driver for fatigue. So it makes sense for us when we're deloading is to reduce total volume. So I want you pulling down all of your working sets to 2. Okay, so basically if you're doing 3 sets, do 2. If you're doing 2 sets, continue to do 2. Now, with regards to weight used, all right, we want to keep the load the same. It's very important that we do maintain our strength as best as possible, but we just want to be stopping 3 to 4 reps shy from failure. Once again, volume training in that close proximity to failure is what will see the most amount of fatigue accumulate. So an easy way for us to drop it off for the most part is just leaving quite a few reps in the tank, all right? Ideally, I want your sessions running 45 minutes to 60 minutes tops this week. Pretty much just get in and out, move some weights, stimulate, and then get home and recover, okay? But it is important that we keep the weight the same, all right? I don't want you going down in your load, just a little bit of a reduction in effort this week. Scales wise, we're up 0.8 kilos, which is good. So we've seen this continued trajectory upwards without needing to make much adjustment. With regards to the CPAP, man, like obviously it takes time for you to adjust. I was curious to know if you were noticing any improvement on the nights that you did manage to keep it on for most of the night. You know, I don't doubt that most mornings you're probably waking up 2, 3 a.m. and you've ripped it off. You're probably fumbling around with it, trying to put it back on in the middle of the night. It is a little bit of a mission, especially if you get up at the night to go use the bathroom. It actually requires a little bit of discipline for you to put the CPAP on after you've used the toilet, for example, because it can be pretty tempting just to roll over and go back to sleep. But I remember when I was using mine more frequently that I would really notice it if I didn't put it back on after I've used the toilet. So keep at it, man. It's going to take time, but it will pay dividends further down the line here. I promise you that much. But just give me a little bit of feedback here, and if you did notice some improvement when you did manage to get a decent night's sleep with it on. Blood pressure was reflecting improvement this week, man. We're below this 129 range, which is kind of where we want to be for that systolic reading. So there's your systolic and your diastolic. Obviously, your systolic is the upper part of your reading, the higher number. That's the pressure when your heart is contracting, and the diastolic is when it's relaxed. So ideally, anything below 129 would be optimal. Anything above 130 is considered stage 1 hypertension, okay? With regards to hydrating as well, you absolutely should be hydrating prior to getting that reading. If anything, man, if you're looking at what you should be doing upon waking in the morning, it's get up, go to the toilet, obviously, get your scale weight reading, and then from there we want to be getting our fluids in and begin hydrating, because you will be waking up in a dehydrated state most mornings. So I personally would be aiming from 500 to a litre of water, 500 ml to a litre of water. So yeah, definitely hydrate first. Give yourself some time to relax, especially if you're finding the mornings can be a little bit stressful for some people as they have lots of things to do if they're going to work. And then from there, sit down and get 3 readings with your blood pressure cuff and kind of generate an average between those, okay? And then just lastly, man, to wrap things up, you had a question here. If we're leaving gains on the table by only having 225 milligrams per week of testosterone. Now, it's a common misconception here. Higher testosterone, well, testosterone is in the drug, does not equate to more gains, okay? Total androgenic load is going to be the main driver for that, regardless of where it is from, okay? Extensive research has been done, not so much nowadays, obviously with it harder to get funding to study guys using juice, but all anabolics have been proven to more or less build muscle at relatively the same rate, okay? So doing more tests is not going to see you build more muscle. So what we need to think about when we are constructing a stack for any given individual is how can we get the most out of this with the least possible deleterious side effects. And when we look at you as an individual, you're gyno-prone, okay? You are very prone to those estrogenic side effects. So that means we must keep testosterone lower. And because we have test so low, or in a lower range comparatively to what some other people might take, we make up for that total androgen load with a DHT derivative, which will not aromatize into estrogen. So basically that is why it does not make a difference in tissue being accrued. You're making really fucking fantastic progress already. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As far as moving forwards with our next PD escalation in the coming weeks, we will bring testosterone up. Naturally, as masteron continues to increase, we do have the ability to do so. But the plan is we're going to keep it at 300 milligrams per week, and that's where it will stay for the remainder of the phase. But you can set your mind at ease knowing that more tests will not equate to more gains, okay? That is not necessarily how these things work. But that's it for me this week, mates. No changes, all right? Just keep on going ahead, keep on doing what you're doing. Definitely enjoy the rest this week, okay? Touch base with me throughout as well with how you're feeling. But I do want you leaving your sessions feeling pretty fresh. I don't want you walking out of the gym feeling fucked up this week. I want you walking out of the gym feeling pretty good, okay? But yeah, mate, have a great one. We should definitely tee something up soon. I'm not sure if you're off work at all, but we would be great to catch up and get a session. So let me know, mates. Shoot me a message on WhatsApp and we can talk more on there. Have a great Sunday, bro, and I'll speak with you soon. Boom, that's one. So each check-in runs for, it really depends, you know. That was about 6 minutes. I would say that's about standard. It really depends, you know. I've had check-ins that go for over 10 minutes. I'm pretty cognizant of the fact, though, that a lot of people don't want to sit there and listen to me waffle on for 10 minutes. So I try to keep them a little bit shorter than that. Rarely is a check-in less than 2 to 3 minutes, to be quite honest. As you have clients for a longer period of time, though, like, you'll find there's less and less that needs to go over, less education that needs to happen unless there is something that does present. And in that scenario, it can be a little bit shorter, but it's very much unique to the individual. Anyway, that's one check-in. I've got a few more to get through, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock these ones out. And I'm not sure when I'll pick up the camera again, but I will see you then. Okay, so all the check-ins are completed. Sunday check-ins done. Just got off the phone with my coach Callum for the plans for the week ahead. We're actually running a diet break this week, which is cool. So a week off from fat loss. I think I might do a deep dive on that a little bit later, maybe in another video. But right now, meal 2 has been consumed. Meal 3 is packed because we are going shopping. And if anyone has dieted, done a prep before, you know that one of the best things to do when you are hungry is spend money. So I'm going to get an Apple Watch. Samantha plans on getting a new phone, maybe, and AirPods, so she stops stealing mine. And then we'll do some food shopping. Don't know if I'll record the food shop, maybe. That might be a whole separate video. It's not a bad idea. And yeah, so we're gonna go spend some money. I'm gonna spend some bags. I gotta spend some money anyway because I need to bring my tax down. So I've gotten the green light from my accountant. So we're gonna have some fun. All right, guys, welcome back. We have been shopping. We've just taken a little bit of a break to get one kids. We've just taken a break to get one long black coffee. Sam, what have you got?
I actually went for a white hot chocolate.
A white hot chocolate. Wonder how many calories is in that? I've also picked up from Supplement Mart, no plug, liquid stevia. It's like caramel flavor. And then this one's hazelnut. So Sam wants me to try the caramel today because I know that she wants to try it. So we're going to have that in my coffee. But we thought, can you hold that for me?
Sure.
We thought we would, just hold it right there, yeah. We thought we would
How
do
many
a bit of a haul.
drops you doing?
I don't know. 1/3 of a drop, approximately the sweetness of 1 teaspoon of sugar. That looks like nothing. Maybe like 2?
No, just try first, just in case you over. You can always add more, you can't take away. Oh, okay.
Maybe 1/3? Alright, we'll try the caramel. I actually like long blacks, but sometimes you need a little bit of sweetness. And sometimes you get really shit long blacks, you know? It's actually good.
Oh.
You're still gonna hate it. It's actually, you get the caramel though, right?
It's better.
Yeah, you actually get the caramel. Anyway, so that's a buy. I'm keen to try the hazelnut, to be fair. But we've been spending some money. I think we've racked up a bill of $2,500 today, so it's been a fun day. Did you want to start with your purchases, Samantha?
Go on. So, got some AirPods because mine were about 4 years old and only one worked, and I kept stealing Tyler's. And these are noise cancelling as well, which I think are really cool. So that was exciting. Maybe I'll get a PB in the gym because of those. And then I got pressured into getting a new phone to take photos of Tyler. But I did need one, to be fair.
That is actually a very big selling point of this new phone, is so she can actually get better photos, because I don't know what phone you were using before. I think it was an iPhone 11. I don't know, it sucked. This is the old phone. It's like all cracked. You probably can't even see. It's all cracked and shit. So she definitely needed a new one anyway, and the added bonus is the photos will not suck. But I've also been indulging a little bit, obviously, you know, prep purchases. So I've had my Garmin. I've had the Garmin since my last prep, so it's been since 2022. So I thought I'd get an Apple Watch because I'm an Apple fanboy. It is what it is, sue me. So we got the Series 10, 46mm. I'm actually pretty keen because you can change your music on it.
And you can complete your circles.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. Realistically, the only thing I need the watch for is to count my steps and tell the time and now I can use it for Spotify. So it's a pretty expensive device to do 3 things, but
It's nice.
it is what it is. And then I also picked up a SSD because basically SSDs are a lot safer than a hard drive. Sometimes your things can get corrupted with a hard drive and you can't get your things off. Did you just spill that all over yourself?
No, I was trying to fix it.
Oh God. On the Essentials hoodie too?
Yeah, I know. I know my new AirPods.
I don't think that's a big deal. But yeah, so we've been enjoying ourselves at the shops. After we finish these coffees, I should hopefully have a little bit more energy, and then we're going to brave Coles on a Sunday at Karina. Pray for us. Might pick this up. We might shoot some stuff in Coles. I don't know. We'll have some fun with it. I don't want to shoot too much because then editing is going to be a mission. But like I said, I'm going to keep this super raw. There isn't going to be any fancy edits here. Just straight up living the prep life. Any closing statements, Samantha?
I'm gonna need a serviette.
I'm going to go get Sam a serviette. We are in the middle of shopping. I don't normally do the food shopping. Normally Samantha does it all for me, but I've graced her with my presence today.
Ooh, lucky me.
We've got a trolley full of nutritious things. Don't mind the LCMs. I'm sure a lot of people would be probably very interested to know what we spend a week on food. I actually have no idea, to be honest, so I'll endeavour to get about 300 a week, I'm being told. So that's not that bad. Is that a lot?
That's a lot, baby.
That's a lot. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll go down as I eat less food, but Samantha just loves to stock up on snacks, and that tends to run the bill up a little bit.
Fuck off.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm only teasing. But we will continue.
You're being very helpful, baby.
She's mad that I'm not being very helpful,
I
but
wanna get-
this is more her area of expertise.
Can you,
I just bring the vibes, you know?
do we need eggs? Gotta-
We need eggs. All right, that wraps up our food shop. Sam was bang on the money. It was exactly $300, so got to hand it to the girl. She knows her stuff. We're now going to head to the butcher to get our beef mince, because the butcher's beef mince is so much better than Coles and Woolies. Coles and Woolies actually sucks now that we've gone to the butcher. But on the drive, I'm getting my meal in. Quick learning lesson for you all. Never leave the house without a meal. Very, very easy, controllable. Always be prepared. Even if you think you're not going to be out of the house for very long, it still pays to just bring something in case something pops up. You don't ever want to be left without your food. So I'm going to get this in because I'm starving. I've got 100 grams of rice, 140 grams of chicken. I've got some beetroot slaw, and then I got some pickles in there as well. Another dieting hack for you, pickles, just pickled veg in general. Super low calorie, and they are excellent for your digestion. Might pick the camera back up when I'm at home. We haven't got much planned for the rest of the day. I've got to update my diet for my diet break this week. But outside of that, that should pretty much wrap for a day in the life rest day edition. So I'll catch you at home. All right, and we're back. So that was basically a day in the life on a rest day. Honestly, a little bit of a busy one. Normally Sundays I would just do my morning walk and then work till about 11, 12 o'clock. And then I'm not gonna lie, normally I would be like parked up right on that couch right there, and I'd just be watching TV or honestly playing a little bit of PlayStation lately, because I find when I'm hungry, and I'm not even that hungry to be honest, it's more just a prep thing, I tend to just play a lot more games. It just makes the time go that little bit quicker. So I have been playing a little bit more PlayStation as of late, and a little bit of a sneak peek for those who've actually watched this video. My posing song is actually from a recent video game that I've been playing. So yeah, who would have thought that that is where I would find something to pose to? Nonetheless, basically the rest of this evening, it's about 4 p.m. now, we will be dedicated to playing with this Apple Watch and trying to figure out how the fuck to work it, to be quite frank, because I'm pretty tech savvy, but tech savvy I sound like such a boomer. I'm pretty on top of these things, but I don't know, I feel like there's a lot to learn and I want to try to get the most out of it. But I got it for pretty cheap considering it was end of financial year. It was like $550, so I feel like that's decently priced for a new Apple Watch. But yeah, rest of the day is literally just looking like being on my computer. I've actually updated my diet, so I still do my diet. My coach Callum will send me my macros, and then I'll update it. So obviously we have this diet break coming up here this week, so I'll share with you guys what the calories and macros are. So Training days this week were at 280 pro, 520 carb, and 50 fat. As far as what that equates to in calories, I'm actually not 100% sure. I'll tell you right now. That's 3,650 calories. And then rest day is 260 pro, 470 carb, and 50 fat. That's 3,370 calories. So not too bad at all for the week. Obviously, we won't be pushing fat loss this week, but the visuals will likely still improve just with a bit of added fullness here. So got that to look forward to. So the diet's all updated and ready to go from tomorrow. So yeah, the day's just going to be looking pretty chill. I've got Sam's brother coming over for dinner tonight. We're going to cook some steaks. He's going to come and verse me in Mario Kart, which should be good because, no offense to Sam if she watches this, but she's not the best person to verse because she's pretty easy to beat. So I'm hoping he puts up a little bit more of a challenge for me this evening. Nonetheless, if you have made it this far, thank you. I am going to try to keep these pretty consistent. Once again, they're probably going to be super raw. And that's just because that's kind of what I like to watch when I was watching fitness content a little bit more. I definitely got some training in. Of course, there's going to be full days of eating. Of course, I'll be super transparent with everything, much like I am on my Instagram, including what PEDs I'm taking, dosages, the whole lot. I don't care. I'll share it all. So yeah, stay tuned for that, but plenty more content to be coming. Obviously, I've got Dante, my videographer, as well, so I'm sure we'll chop up some more crispy videos for people to enjoy. Nonetheless, thank you very much. If you did enjoy the video, click subscribe, I guess, like it, do all of those things. Maybe leave a comment if you want, but thank you very much.